Greetings from 2054. I am Michael Rashid. Consider this a message in a bottle cast across the ocean of time. A chrono cast, if you will. My mission is simple yet daunting, to paint a picture of the world we've inherited. A world teetering on the precipice of despair. The year is 2054. The air hangs heavy, thick with a metallic tang. Gone are the vibrant hues of nature, replaced by a monotonous grey. Towering structures of steel and concrete pierce the smog-choked sky, monuments to a progress that has come at a terrible cost. This is our world, a world stripped bare of its humanity. Our story, however, does not begin in this desolate future. It begins in your present, the year 2024. This message serves as a warning, a glimpse into a potential future we must strive to avert. We stand at a crossroads, and the path we choose today will determine the fate of generations to come. The world of 2054 is a bleak tapestry, woven with the threads of broken promises and shattered dreams. The once vibrant cities, filled with the hustle and bustle of daily life, now stand as silent monuments to a forgotten era. The streets, once teeming with life, are now empty, save for a few souls who wander aimlessly, their heads bowed under the weight of an uncertain future. The air is heavy with the stench of decay, not just of the environment, but of the human spirit. Pollution chokes the skies, casting a perpetual grey pallor over the landscape. The buildings, once symbols of progress and innovation, now stand as crumbling relics of a bygone age, their facades marred by neglect and disrepair. The laughter of children, once the soundtrack of life, has been replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the hum of surveillance drones and the crunching of footsteps on cracked pavement. These drones, ever watchful, serve as a constant reminder of the loss of privacy and freedom, their presence a testament to a society that values control over connection. The human beings populating this world are but shadows of their former selves, their eyes vacant, their movements mechanical, their spirits crushed under the weight of their desolation. They move through their days in a trance-like state, their minds numbed by the relentless grind of survival, in a world that has forgotten the meaning of hope. The bonds of community, once the bedrock of society, have eroded, leaving behind a desolate landscape of isolation and despair. People no longer gather in parks or public squares. The sense of togetherness that once defined humanity has been replaced by a pervasive sense of loneliness. The digital connections that were meant to bring us closer have instead driven us further apart, creating a world where true human interaction is a rarity. The very essence of what it means to be human, compassion, empathy, love, has been systematically dismantled, replaced by a cold, calculating efficiency that values profit over people, data over dreams. In this new world, success is measured not by the well-being of individuals, but by the bottom line. The pursuit of wealth and power has overshadowed the pursuit of happiness, leaving a society that is rich in material wealth, but impoverished in spirit. This is the legacy we are on the brink of inheriting, a legacy of disconnection and despair. As we stand at the precipice of this grim future, we must ask ourselves, is this the world we want to leave for future generations? The choices we make today will determine the reality of tomorrow. It is within our power to change course, to rebuild the bonds of community, to restore the values of compassion and empathy, and to create a future where hope, not despair, is the defining characteristic of our world. One of the most insidious changes has been the transformation of work. No longer a source of purpose and fulfillment, it has become a soul-crushing grind, a means to an end and nothing more. The rise of automation, while touted as a means of liberation, has instead become a tool of enslavement. Millions have been displaced, cast aside by algorithms and automated systems that value efficiency above all else. Those fortunate enough to retain employment find themselves trapped in a cycle of meaningless tasks, their creativity stifled, their spirits broken by the relentless demands of productivity. The concept of meaningful work, of finding purpose and satisfaction in one's labour, has become a distant memory, a relic of a bygone era. In its place we find a pervasive sense of disillusionment, a feeling of being but cogs in a vast, impersonal machine. This disconnect from work has not only eroded our sense of self-worth, but has also fractured our communities, leaving us feeling isolated and alone. Section 4. Isolation and the erosion of human bonds. Perhaps the most devastating consequence of our current trajectory is the erosion of human connection. In an age where technology promises to bring us closer, we find ourselves drifting further apart. The irony is palpable. The tools designed to unite us are the very ones driving a wedge between us. The very fabric of society, woven from the threads of empathy, compassion and shared experience, is fraying at an alarming rate. We are losing the essence of what it means to be human, as our interactions become increasingly superficial and transactional. We have traded the warmth of human interaction for the cold comfort of digital screens, our lives increasingly mediated by algorithms and artificial intelligence. The convenience of technology has come at a steep price, one that we are only beginning to understand. Social media, once touted as a tool for connection, has become a breeding ground for comparison, envy and division. The curated lives we see online create unrealistic standards, leading to feelings of inadequacy and isolation. We are more connected than ever, yet we have never felt more alone. We curate our online personas, projecting an image of perfection that belies the isolation and loneliness we feel deep within. The pressure to maintain this facade is immense, and it takes a toll on our mental health and well-being. The decline of face-to-face interaction, the erosion of community spaces, and the atomization of society have created a perfect storm for isolation to thrive. Public spaces that once buzzed with activity and conversation now stand empty, a stark reminder of what we have lost. We are becoming increasingly disconnected from one another, our lives resembling parallel lines that never intersect. The sense of community that once provided support and belonging is fading, leaving us to navigate the complexities of life alone. This isolation is not merely a personal tragedy, it is a societal crisis that threatens to unravel the very fabric of our humanity. If we do not address this growing divide, we risk losing the very qualities that make us human, our ability to connect, to empathize, and to support one another. The time to act is now, to reclaim our shared humanity and rebuild the bonds that hold us together. Section 5. The decay of values and the rise of apathy. As we have become increasingly disconnected from ourselves, each other, and the natural world, we have witnessed a parallel decay in our values. This disconnection is not just a physical one, but also a spiritual and emotional divide that has grown wider with each passing day. The digital age, while bringing us closer in some ways, has paradoxically driven a wedge between our true selves and the world around us. The principles that once guided our actions, compassion, empathy, integrity, and a sense of shared responsibility, have been eroded by a culture of individualism, consumerism, and instant gratification. In the past, communities thrived on mutual support and understanding, but now the relentless pursuit of personal gain overshadows these timeless values. The once vibrant connections that held societies together are now frayed and weakened. The pursuit of wealth and status has become the dominant narrative, leaving little room for anything else. Our lives are increasingly defined by what we own rather than who we are. The relentless chase for material success has overshadowed the importance of personal growth, relationships, and community. This shift in priorities has led to a hollow existence, where the true essence of life is often overlooked. We have become desensitized to the suffering of others, our capacity for empathy dulled by the constant bombardment of negative news and the overwhelming scale of global challenges. The media, in its quest for sensationalism, has numbed our senses, making it difficult to distinguish between genuine crises and manufactured outrage. This constant exposure to negativity has created a society that is more cynical and less compassionate. This moral decay is evident in the rise of apathy, cynicism, and a sense of hopelessness that pervades our society. People are increasingly disengaged from the issues that matter, choosing instead to retreat into their own bubbles of comfort and convenience. This growing indifference is a silent epidemic, eroding the very fabric of our communities and leaving us isolated and disconnected. We are losing faith in our institutions, in each other, and in our ability to create a better future. The trust that once existed between the public and those in power has been shattered by corruption, incompetence, and a lack of accountability. This erosion of trust has left us feeling powerless and disillusioned, questioning whether meaningful change is even possible. This loss of faith is perhaps the most dangerous disconnection of all, for it robs us of the hope and motivation necessary to enact meaningful change. Without hope, we are left adrift in a sea of uncertainty, unable to muster the strength to fight for a better tomorrow. It is this loss of hope that we must address if we are to reverse the tide of apathy and restore the values that once defined us.